Today we are doing the last section of chapter 12 of A Course in Miracles. Chapter 12 is called The Holy Spirit's Curriculum. And this last section is section 8, The Attraction of Love for Love. Do you really believe that you can kill the Son of God? The Father has hidden his Son safely within himself and kept him far away from your destructive thoughts, but you know neither the Father nor the Son because of them. You attack the real world every day and every hour and every minute, and yet you are surprised that you cannot see it. If you seek love in order to attack it, you will never find it. For if love is sharing, how can you find it except through itself? Offer it and it will come to you because it is drawn to itself. But offer attack and love will remain hidden, for it can live only in peace. God's Son is as safe as his Father, for the Son knows his Father's protection and cannot fear. His Father's love holds him in perfect peace, and needing nothing, he asks for nothing. Yet he is far from you whose self he is, for you chose to attack him, and he disappeared from your sight into his Father. He did not change, but you did, for a split mind and all its works were not created by the Father and could not live in the knowledge of him. When you made visible what is not true, what is true became invisible to you. Yet it cannot be invisible in itself, for the Holy Spirit sees it with perfect clarity. It is invisible to you because you are looking at something else. Yet it is no more up to you to decide what is visible and what is invisible than it is up to you to decide what reality is. What can be seen is what the Holy Spirit sees. The definition of reality is God's, not yours. He created it, and he knows what it is. You who knew have forgotten, and unless he had given you a way to remember, you would have condemned yourself to oblivion. Because of your Father's love, you can never forget him, for no one can forget what God himself placed in his memory. You can deny it, but you cannot lose it. A voice will answer every question you ask, and a vision will correct the perception of everything you see. For what you have made invisible is the only truth, and what you have not heard is the only answer. God would reunite you with yourself and did not abandon you in your distress. You are waiting only for him and do not know it, yet his memory shines in your mind and cannot be obliterated. It is no more past than future, being forever always. You have but to ask for this memory and you will remember. Yet the memory of God cannot shine in a mind that has obliterated it and wants to keep it so. For the memory of God can dawn only in a mind that chooses to remember and that has relinquished the insane desire to control reality. You who cannot even control yourself should hardly aspire to control the universe. But look upon what you have made of it and rejoice that it is not so. Son of God, be not content with nothing. What is not real cannot be seen and has no value. God could not offer his Son what has no value, nor could his Son receive it. You were redeemed the instant you thought you had deserted him. Everything you made has never been, and is invisible because the Holy Spirit does not see it. Yet what he does see is yours to behold, and through his vision your perception is healed. You have made invisible the only truth that this world holds. Valuing nothing, you have sought nothing. By making nothing real to you, you have seen it, but it is not there. And Christ is invisible to you because of what you have made visible to yourself. Yet it does not matter how much distance you have tried to interpose between your awareness and truth. God's Son can be seen because his vision is shared. The Holy Spirit looks upon him and sees nothing else in you. What is invisible to you is perfect in his sight and encompasses all of it. He has remembered you because he forgot not the Father. You looked upon the unreal and found despair. Yet by seeking the unreal, what else could you find? The unreal world is a thing of despair, for it can never be. And you who share God's being with him could never be content without reality. What God did not give you has no power over you, and the attraction of love for love remains irresistible. For it is the function of love to unite all things unto itself and to hold all things together by extending its wholeness. The real world was given you by God in loving exchange for the world you made and the world you see. Only take it from the hand of Christ and look upon it. Its reality will make everything else invisible, for beholding it is total perception. And as you look upon it, you will remember that it was always so. Nothingness will become invisible, for you will at last have seen truly. Redeemed perception is easily translated into knowledge, for only perception is capable of error, and perception has never been. Being corrected, it gives place to knowledge, which is forever the only reality. The atonement is but the way back to what was never lost. Your Father could not cease to love his Son. God's love has never changed. Okay, let's read this one little line here, which is critical, which comes up again and again in the course. Jesus says, You were redeemed the instant you thought you had deserted him. Okay, so the ego, from our perspective, the separation, how did the separation from God happen, and when did it happen? and Jesus is telling us, well, it only seems that the separation happened. It actually never really happened. The ego never really happened. And it's because it couldn't happen. It's impossible. So the instant that thought, and this may be just metaphorical, maybe not literal, but there was a tiny mad idea. The tiny mad idea was, what would it be like to be separate from God? Or can we just go play somewhere else for a little while and get away from God, and be a separate, individual, autonomous, discrete self that is not under the wings of this God guy. This is all, I'm just talking metaphorically, because perfect oneness, perfect wholeness, this is just in many ways a story that we can understand. It's not necessarily the absolute truth, because words cannot put it into, words cannot convey the truth, the full truth. But according to the Course, at least, and what might be helpful, is that there was this tiny mad idea, right, in the mind of God. What would it be like to be separate from God? Of course, that's an impossibility, but because the thought was entertained by the Son, that thought had ramifications, and the ramifications was the whole universe as we know it, which is, it came from that tiny little mad idea, which was, what would it be like to be separate from God? So the Son had this desire, so the Son's desire was fulfilled. The Son had this little wish. I wonder what that would be like. That sounds like it might be fun. But this line about the instant that thought came up, and the whole material universe spun out from that, there was already the answer. The answer was, that's impossible. It's impossible, and it never happened. It seemed to happen. It was a dream. It was a long dream. From our perspective, it happened a very long time ago, but in reality, not only did it never happen, but it's never happening. It's still happening because we are still choosing the ego. We are still choosing that thought, which is, I like to be separate. I want to be separate. I want to be a person. I want to be an individual. I want to be separate from others. I like that. I want that. And that's all that I'm so conditioned to think that way and believe that way anyway, because I've been in this body for however long, and I've been in this world, and this seems very real to me, and no one can tell me otherwise. So that's one thing, is that why is this illusion so persistent? Because we keep choosing it. We're still choosing it. We're not, we're most of us, including students of the course, do not truly want the vision of Christ, do not truly want to let go of the illusion, to let go of the judgment, to let go of this separate self, this illusory separate self. That is scary. That is not just scary, but that is, terrifying. It's terrifying. And it's terrifying, because of the ego, because of our ego investment. But if we were not so invested in the ego, it wouldn't be so terrified. And so Jesus is presenting us a course that will take us step by step, slowly, to release that egoic investment, and to the point where our perception is so much in line with the vision of Christ and the Holy Spirit, which Holy Spirit is what Jesus calls the voice for God, or the memory of God that came with the Son into the separation, into the material universe. So we all have that memory within us, every single one of us. We all have that memory of God. It has never left. And because that memory is the memory of unconditional, perfect wholeness and oneness, which is our true nature, we have to go there, because that is our true nature. And we can stray for only for so long before we return. So everyone has to go back, because it would just be too much not to. So however far we may roam, we're always going to find our way home. And it's the attraction of love for love. So that's the name of this section. The attraction of love for love is that feeling in our heart, that in our heart of hearts, that desire for that perfect love is still there. It has never left, can never leave, because that's our only reality. And because of the ego, it's very much in the background. That what is in our heart of hearts, the Holy Spirit's voice is very much in the background, and the ego is very loud, and we listen mainly to the ego, and we attack. And it says it at the beginning, do you really think that you can find love through attack? Do you think that by being unloving, you can find love? And a lot of people think that, actually. And that's pretty much how the world works, that we think that by punishing others, by being cruel, by being, by judging others, by putting our brothers down in whatever way, by condescending to them, by also by false humility, and by putting ourselves lower than others, we're attacking. We're attacking the Son of God. We're either attacking ourselves or we're attacking others. It's the same thing. And so it's all a question of, do we want to take Jesus' hand here, and do we want to see as he sees? Do we trust enough that that's what we really want in our heart of hearts? That's the only thing we really want, because that's the only thing we truly are. Do we trust that enough that we're willing to go there? And if not, then it's okay. We'll still get there. We're getting there anyway. Whatever we do, we're on our way. We may not get there necessarily in in this lifetime. The Course doesn't say that. So I'm kind of putting that in. As far as I'm aware, the Course doesn't say it might not happen for some people in this lifetime. And so maybe I'm wrong about that. But it seems to be the case that maybe that thought is really judging ourselves, and we're saying to ourselves, well, maybe I won't get there in this lifetime. But in reality, that is also egoic. That way of thinking is egoic, because the reality is we're already there. It's all about realizing that time and space are illusory, and the separation never actually happened. So even to say I will be enlightened in this lifetime, or I will be liberated in this lifetime, that's also, there's truth to it, but it's also putting it in the future, and it's not in the future. It's not in the future. It's always been. It's forever, and it's all about accepting it now. And you can accept it. I can accept it. You can accept it. We all can accept it right now if we want. And it ain't easy, as they say. It ain't easy getting over. It ain't easy getting over ourselves. It ain't easy getting out of our own way, getting out of the way of the truth. But with the help of some good friends and the Course, our mighty companions, peace, love, and understanding, we will get there, because we are already there. So once again, I thank you for showing up and listening. And I do tend to ramble, and I do tend to speak very spontaneously. I would love any comments that you have about this. Is it clear? Are there things that would you like more clarity, or more reading word for word? When it comes down to it, like I said, everyone has to sit with the Course themselves. Every serious student of the Course really has to sit with the Course. You can't hear it from someone. You can hear it from someone else. And I've learned a lot from, for example, from Ken Wapnick about this. So it could be helpful, but ultimately you have to sit with it yourself and really, do the moment-to-moment practice in your own life. So, okay, that's it. Next chapter, chapter 13, The Guiltless World. See you then.